Hello guys! So how are all of you wonderful girls and guys? How are you doing? I'm overexcited! Today's video is going to be a little bit different and I'm really excited for it. It is going to be me basically talking to you guys about my work experience for the past 4 years and some tips and advice, and I actually might make this into 2 separate videos because I'm not really sure how long it's going to be because I have a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about and just a lot of stuff that I want to cover with you all, and I just want to basically get out everything that I have learned and experienced and just have overcome and have learned throughout my work experience. So yeah, if that made any sense, which I hope that it did. If you guys are excited, I know I am very excited for this video. I don't know why. I'm just excited to talk about something different with you all and just to really just share my personal experience. It's exciting. So I actually took notes on this. It's a whole page long. So hopefully this video is not too long, which I hope that it's not. But I'm basically just going to go ahead and get into the video. So I'm just going to kind of start off first with every year of stuff that's happened and I experienced, and we'll just kind of get into everything else. So okay, the very first year of starting out at my job, and if you guys don't know, I worked at Dollar General for 4 years, and so the very first year my friend actually got me a job there. And I remember that I was so stressed and so depressed that I had to go to work because I had never worked anywhere before. And I was really shy and I just wasn't really good around people, you know. I'd get really nervous and I didn't know what to say. And so I was just overall just overwhelmed with the fact that I had to go to work. And it's just something that everybody, you know, has to do. So I remember starting out my very first day, I was so nervous, I was practically shaking really bad, and I just remember they started out putting me on the cash register, and I remember it took me a little while to catch on to that. I remember I would get really nervous when I'd hand someone their money back because I was scared I wasn't going to give them the right amount, but it was easy because all you really had to do was look at the screen and it told you how much money to give back, so it's not like you had to sit there and calculate in your head, which I am terrible at. So I actually am glad life's not that hard. Yeah, so my first day was the worst day, you know, because I was so nervous, and it actually took me about 2 weeks to catch on to just the cash register, which probably not that bad. I think it really takes about everybody probably about that long to catch on to something they've never done before. And everybody was really nice to me at the time. There was different people working there than when I quit the job. So, but everybody at the time was really nice and helpful, and they were, you know, trying to explain things to me. So basically I ran the cash register for probably first couple of months that I was there. I was the main person on the cash register. So after I ran the cash register, my the next thing that they let me do was they put me on the floor. And if any of you guys are familiar with retail work or work in a store, and just, you know, you probably already know what I'm going to say. So basically what they would have you do is at nighttime we did what was called recovery, and it's also called blocking and facing, and there's different names for it, but it's all the same thing. Basically what you do is you pull products up forward from the shelf and make sure everything is aligned with the price tag and everything is where it's supposed to be, and if you find something out of place, you go and, you know, put it where it's supposed to be. So basically that's what they had me doing next, and I really enjoyed doing that. It was different from the cash register, even though at first I thought the cash register was so much fun, and I guess because it was new to me and I'd never done that. So when I got on the floor, I was really excited because I got to do something different that I hadn't done yet. So after a couple of weeks of recovery, they really liked how I did recovery. So they kept me as one of the people that would be working at nighttime. I would be on the floor. So then I started to get to work on the floor a lot. And overall, I was just doing really well. And yeah, so that's basically like the first year of my experience, you know, when I was opened up to other things. So getting into the second year of my job, I was getting more experienced with other things. I was actually put on the truck, which means I was brought in early in the morning, about 6 o'clock, which I had to get up at like 5, and I was like so not used to that. And I would go in, and there'd be like 4 other people there in the morning. You know, the store didn't open up until 8 o'clock, so it was kind of cool because we was in there by ourselves and no other people was in there. And I got to do what we call totes, and that's what I started out doing, and I ended up being pretty good at doing totes. I was pretty quick at doing them, and I just caught on really good with putting the truck up, so I ended up being one of the main people that was scheduled to be on the truck. And I really enjoyed it. It was actually probably my favorite shift, was 6 to 2:30, and I was good with it. I was satisfied with that. So so then after, you know, I got more and more used to doing things, and I got to build like displays and end caps and putting things where I was supposed to put them, and I was pretty organized, and I was very neat about it, and I could make end caps look really nice, and I could make gondola sections, which is just like a section of a shelf with whatever you got to put on there. Could be anything from toilet paper, paper towels, to plastic stuff, just anything. That's what a gondola is. I don't know why I'm getting into serious detail on this, but yeah, so I was getting really good with doing that. So it actually come to be that a few people quit, I think, and they were looking for like a backup person to carry a set of keys because they actually needed help with that. So I got offered to carry a set of keys, and I was so nervous. Like, honestly, for some reason I had a really hard time with believing myself that I could do it, and I just felt really like insecure and just felt like I couldn't, you know, I was just so scared that I just felt like I couldn't do it. But even though I think deep down I knew that I could do it, because I'm just one of those people that are very determined and are very when you set your mind to something, you do it. So that's just me, and I'm always the type of person that wants to get something done, like now, and get it done. Like, that's just how I am. So, like, I really don't know why I was like that, but so I took the offer, and I got to learn. I started learning how to do management stuff and count money, to opening, closing the store, and to actually be in charge of other people while I was working, and I might have had like 2 other people there, but I was like in charge of them, and I was just in charge of everything, why the manager wasn't there and why the assistant wasn't there. So it was really a lot different. I was really stressed out in the beginning. I just remember thinking like, oh, I'm terrible with money, like I'm not going to be able to do this. And I remember I had a really hard time getting used to counting money. Like, I just we'd always, at the end of the day, we had to run it on the register to see if we were over and short, and sometimes I would mess up, but the money was always there. It was just a miscount, and I would always just feel so bad, and I would always cry, and I'd be so upset about it, and I would stress about it, and like, you know, the manager was always just, you know, really nice and supportive, I think, and told me that he always told me that I did a very good job at what I did, and it was always nice to hear that feedback, because it made me feel like, you know, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. So he was never ever mad. The money was always there, you know, and like after a while, you know, I started catching on more and more, and I could get stuff good, and you know, when it would come to be like I was only off like a couple cents, you know, it was like, hallelujah, yes, I did good. Yeah, so that's basically my second year. I started to get into that kind of stuff, and it was just really overall stressing, but it was a positive experience, and everybody was really helpful. So my third year there, I actually become the assistant manager. I was offered that when the other assistant at the time quit, and really there was no one else qualified enough in the store that could like set things like I could, that could knew how to do the truck, and to just basically do everything. Like, so I got offered to be the assistant manager, and I honestly didn't want to do it because I was putting myself down again, thinking that I wasn't good enough. And so at the time, the manager and the other people working there really wanted me to do it, and they were encouraging me to, and said that you'd be really good, and you know what you're doing. And so I thought about it, and I just decided to take the job. I was also offered a pay raise, which was pretty cool, and more hours and stuff like that. So I took the job and become the assistant manager, and things got a little more stressing than what they already was, but it was pretty much like I was doing the same thing that I was anyways, because I was getting a lot of overtime. We'd have people call off, and I would always go in when they called me. I would always rack up them extra hours, and I would usually have a pretty nice paycheck at the end of the week, so it's all good. So yeah, I got a lot more responsibilities being the assistant manager, and I think, you know, I was overcoming a lot of fears that I had before, which was being around a lot of people and stuff like that. So there was just one flaw that I had that I could never really bring myself to do, and that was to have a backbone, which means to basically tell somebody what you're thinking, or tell somebody what they need to do, and if someone does something wrong, you have to confront them about it. I had a really hard time with that because I'm honestly just too nice. I am too nice of a person. It would just tear me up when I had to, you know, do that kind of stuff. But, you know, I'll get on more about that later on, about how much I changed from when I started to when I finished. So basically the last year that I was there was like a comfort zone for me, because I was used to everything, and I was on the tee with money. Probably the third and fourth year is when I really finally got money down, and like I would rarely have any mistakes with money. So I got really good with money, and I just basically got good with everything the third and fourth year. Really got the whole thing down. So my last year that I was there, I got so much quicker and faster, like with things that I was doing, just because I've done them for so long. I knew what to do. I was probably where I needed to be, as far as the manager was the fastest person at putting stuff up in trucks and stuff like that, but I had the manager beat on setting seasonal sets, which means sets like Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Easter, all that kind of stuff. I took care of all of that. And he actually didn't even like setting that kind of stuff, so he kind of gave the job to me to do, and I just loved it. Like, it was honestly my favorite thing to do. I loved seeing what new stuff was coming in, and I loved just making it look all nice and pretty. And I was, honestly, I will say, not to brag, but I was pretty good at it. So, and I was really fast too. And I think that was what most things, a lot of people couldn't really catch on and do things quickly, but I was just fast. So, so yeah, that's basically my years of like how I what am I trying to say? Basically my 4 years of how I started out and how I finished. And I think I'm going to make part 2 for you guys, because we're already into 14 minutes and that's a pretty long freaking video. So if you guys are interested in watching part 2 is basically going to be talking about some other things, and I'm going to give you guys some tips if you guys are starting a career in retail, stuff like that. So if you guys are interested and you guys enjoyed this video so far, please give it a thumbs up, and I will make part 2. Don't know why I did this, because this is like 4, but it's not, it's only 2. So hopefully you guys like this video, and if you guys want to continue, we're going to make part 2. So see you in the next one. Bye!